What's going on, y'all? Being Mary Jane, let me tell you something. This bitch played too damn much, okay? So y'all know we're gonna get right back into it. Mary Jane, ooh, sometimes you want to root for her, and sometimes you just want to slap the shit out of her. Like, girl, what are you doing? Like, she know how to self-sabotage a lot of situations, And it was like, girl, you slept with David, you got what you wanted, and now you want to have second thoughts. You wake him up by you vacuuming and all that stuff, and then you tell him he's ready to go home and tell his wife, to his girlfriend, fiance, whoever, soon to be baby mama, that look, me and Mary Jane just bang. It's a possibility that she may get pregnant, and our child gonna have a sibling, and it is what it is. You can go off with old boy that you like, and I can kick it with her, and we can just be copacetic and be good. Mary Jane, like, girl, let me tell you something. So I had this epiphany. I had to go pray to God. And, if I get pregnant, then we can say something. If not, no, I ain't gonna say nothing because this just wrong. I had to sleep around with a married man just to get away with you and all this stuff. And dude, like, bitch, what? So you mean to tell me I gotta wait 7 to 10 days to see whether or not we gonna keep this shit going? I just came in your ass and, you doing all this stuff and I was just over Mary Jane and her bullshit. I said, I was with David on that part. Like, how dare you? How dare you? He ready to just go ahead and make the shit official almost. But she's so indecisive. And all of a sudden, like, she want to go ahead and do the deed, but then want to have, her morality want to set in, right after it's done. And I'm like, that should have set in the beginning. So it is what the fuck it is. And she wants to go. David said, fuck this shit, I'm leaving. Motherfucker, you crazy. She wants to go and clean up. She taking all the alcohol out her house and just doing a little self-cleaning and all that shit. I said, girl, please. Because as soon as she emptied out all them bottles of alcohol, she goes to the store and get a brand new bottle. I said, so what was the point, girl? What was the point? It is what it is. So David goes over Chris' house and he's basically venting to him about the stuff that's going on between him and Mary Jane. And he was like, why she do this and why she do that? And this is the exact reason why I stopped messing with black girls. And Chris had to say, hold up. Don't let the bullshit that Mary Jane is doing be a representation of all black women because I'm married to a black woman. My mother is a black woman. And I'm so glad he brought that shit up because I hate when somebody sent me this on, my Instagram or whatever, talking about a lot of black people, black dudes that she like or whatever, always saying that, they don't date black women because of these stereotypes of them being angry, don't know what they want, loud and ghetto and all these other just stupid stereotypes that maybe some do that, but you can't categorize and generalize all black women into that category and say this is why I don't date them because of this and because of that. I understand people have their preference and I know some people just like one over the other. If that's really what it is, then let that be what it is. Don't give us no bullshit ass, because they ghetto, because they do this and they don't want to work and they so loud and they don't want a man to do this and they emasculate men and all this shit. And I'm like, so did your mama do that to you? Did your mama do that to your daddy? I mean, is your daddy there? But your mama is the one that stuck around, and took care of your black ass, okay? So, I just wasn't here for that. And I'm so glad that Chris called him out on that bullshit. And he was like, and y'all need to get y'all shit together. This is all y'all fault. Y'all bullshit is interrupting my marriage with my wife and all this shit. And I was like, I know, right? It ain't worth it. Let the shit go. If you gonna do it, do it. If not, let it go. Y'all put yourselves in this situation. So Mary J was doing this interview with this doctor talking about, when a person loses a spouse, whether it's a breakup or in a death or something, you give yourself a week to grieve, a year to grieve before you start to, date and have an actual, another relationship. And she started talking about this window theorem thing, four square window thing. I think it was called Johanny window or whatever. The blinds, the this, the unknown, the help, and all this shit, whatever. Basically, to figure out what's going on in your life, make amends, and to correct and see what you're going to do later. And so this is how having, Mary Jane thinking about a lot of the people in her life, and she just start, jotting it down, these issues according to this Jahari window thing. And excuse me if that's not what it's called, but that's what, it begins with a J and it's the window, okay? So she wants to take it upon herself and go over to her father's house and talk to Nisi and basically, try to attempt to apologize. Nisi is trying on some clothes. Nisi didn't really want to see her because at this point, Nisi is like, I don't give a fuck, auntie. You do what you want to do because I'll never be good enough. Because at one point, you don't start a conversation off, acting like you're going to come over there to apologize and you want to make good on stuff and, make things right. But then you go back into your judgmental ways because she was trying on clothes and you like, I don't think you should wear that. And granted, she a big girl and she had on cheetah print or whatever. But when I was looking at it, I was like, it don't look that bad. So I didn't get what Mary Jane was talking about. I ain't going to let you go out looking like that. She didn't look trashy. I mean, some people in cheetah print, I could see if it was like a hoochie dress and a midriff and, a too tight skirt and just looking all kinds of nasty. But she looked okay in it. And she was just like, I would not be right if I were to let you go out looking like that. You just don't. And Nisi shut her down and was like, look, here's the thing. I know you don't like me. I know you don't think that I'm beautiful, so that's why you come over here and you judge me, okay? Every time I do something, you put me down for. And I would get upset and call you out and do all this and, lay your shit bare. But the fact of the matter is, I believe in myself and I just don't care what you think no more, okay? It don't matter and it don't affect me. I don't even want your apology. So you can move on with that shit. And I said, see, more people need to stand up to Mary Jane like that. And Mary Jane gonna start losing people in her life if she don't get her shit together because that's why I keep on saying, how does she have friends? Like, girl, you do a lot. Like, you destroy people like her self-sabotage and don't even realize it or probably do it on purpose and just don't care because she feel like people still gonna be there because she is who she is. Girl, no. That luck gonna run out. So, Kara, she's having this meeting. Everybody's there, Mary Jane, talking about some topics, what they need to talk about for the next segment or for the next show or whatever. And in the midst of talking about this stuff, Mary Jane just gets up and leaves. And I'm just like, the meeting ain't over, how rude. And she go on her computer, she's looking up some baby room shit. And I'm like, I hope, just because of the way she acting, I know this probably mean to say, I just hope she really not pregnant. I hope not. Because she ain't ready. She ain't, like, girl, I don't know. I just don't like her attitude. Like, this Mary Jane is a little bit too confident, too cocky, all of a sudden, too arrogant on this show, on this episode especially. Because Kara comes in trying to talk to her like, girl, why would you get up? She was like, girl, I'm tired of this bullshit, okay? It's the same old thing. I want my own ideas in there. Let's talk more about the black people. She was like, so you want to make talk back, talk black? And she was like, basically, she was like, girl, are you doing this for the network? Or it sounds like you're trying to build your own brand. And she was like, bitch, maybe. Okay, it is what it is. And she gets on her phone and she's trying to call Nichelle. Now, Nichelle was the girl from the first season that she was trying to have come on her show, either come onto the network or do some work with her. And she basically told her that it was a done deal. And, she trying to work out this Jahari, whatever, window thing and do the forgiveness and, talk the shit out like the same way that she did with Nisi. And she basically left a message on her machine saying, I miss our friendship and, I want to talk and yada, yada, yada. Then the opposite happens. She reveals the truth. She calls the girl back when she gets home and she like, girl, the truth is we ain't friends and I'm pretty sure you don't miss me as much as I miss you. So it just ain't going to have no effect. And the fact of the matter is I spoke too soon on the position that you saying that you had a position that you really didn't because we don't know who got it. And, basically it is what it is. And I was like, why you ain't say that in the first place, okay? Quit with the lies and fallacies trying to make you seem, I don't know, trying to make you seem better, like the better person, the bigger person or whatever, but your true intentions are not that. You're just as petty, you're just as cocky and arrogant, and it's just not a good look, Mary Jane, because we get this scene where Mary Jane get calls in to talk to the dude that was holding the focus groups and told Kara about, Mary Jane and the people that didn't really feel Mary Jane in her time slot or whatever. And the way that Mary Jane was putting out there, because Kara basically presented the idea to do so he could take it up to the big wigs wigs and tell them that, hey, we want to do this part on, Mary Jane's segment of Talk Back, make it Talk Black or whatever. And, of course, Kara making it seem as if she didn't know nothing about it, even though she did. And I just hated the way that Mary Jane was talking. I know sometimes you have to put your ideas out there and you have to make your voice heard so that you won't get ran over in the business or whatever, but do it in a professional way that it don't make it seem like you're coming off very fucking negative. And as if the way that she was talking to dude was as if she owns the company. Like, she owns this network and she can make this shit happen regardless if they say no or not. And I'm sitting here like, you telling him this, and ain't no telling if he gonna really go up there and tell the big wigs his boss is this or whatever. And ain't no telling that, let's say he do verbatimly tell them this, you can get your job snatched too. You worried about them putting this segment on there, making it Talk Black or whatever, talking more about, black issues, since, that's fine. That's fine. Put an idea out there, but it was just the way that she presented, because wasn't nothing wrong with the idea. It was just the way that she presented it. She presented it with so much arrogance and so much like, it's only going to be for 10 minutes of my segment and I have the last say on my segment and you can tell them this and thank you before and after and all this stuff and yada yada yada. And I'm like, you making this seem like how you know that the big wigs ain't already trying to think about cutting your contract short or not renewing your contract or just cutting your program off, period. With all this garbage that you talking like that, it just annoyed the fuck out of me. I was just like, humble yourself, Mary Jane. She was like, I know you're not used to me talking like this because I'm always like the team player, but bitch, this is me right about now. I'm like, girl, she was just doing a lot for me. She was just doing a lot. So Mary Jane's little brother go over to David's house, looking at the plan, and he's like, okay, everything seems up to par. He's on board and all this stuff. Meanwhile, Sally Richardson, she comes over to Mary Jane's house and talking to her, checking up on her, see that she doing that Jahari window thing. She was like, bitch, I'm trying to repair some friendships and all that stuff. And she was like, what about Lisa? She said, that's handled. What about David? She was like, you ain't got to worry about it, because old girl was like, she telling her what David told Chris, her husband, about the stuff that's going on. And was like, well, y'all ain't got to worry about it because I'm not pregnant. Remember at the beginning, she said if she's not pregnant, they not going to be dealing with each other. If she is, they going to, that's when they going to do it or whatever. And so, her friend was like, did you tell him? She sends him a text and say, basically, I'm not pregnant. I was like, oh, okay. And old girl was like, I know you just didn't send that text. And she was like, and so what? And she basically pours it out that, she's angry at what's going on. She's angry at the fact that she's not pregnant. She's angry at the fact that she is not with David. They've been doing this cat and mouse game for 5 years or so. She's pissed off at the fact that she is not, the woman that he's with, the woman that's pregnant with his child at this moment. She's just pissed off, and she said she don't want to cry no more, and it just feel better to be pissed off and angry and get her anger out that way, get her feelings out that way, than to be crying tears over it. I understand, but once again, she put herself in a situation as well. She just don't know. She just feels a lot of guilt, if you ask me, because of the way that the thing broke off. Because I think she broke the relationship off. So now you see him doing good and he's moved on and he's having what you want with someone else, meaning a child or whatever. You feel guilt that you didn't go through with whatever you went through with him and stick it out, Now you want that old thing back and you can't get it back. So this whole thing is affecting not only Mary Jane and her relationships, but also the relationship of her brother, because David is over there talking, about to get the info to her brother about, his lawyer and all this stuff. And he looks at his text and sees that text from Mary Jane saying that I'm not pregnant. And he basically, literally, 5 minutes ago, you said we was cool. This is a good plan. Everything's up to par. I'm in it. I want ownership of this and yada, yada, yada. And because you got this text, you pull out and say, I'm going to be honest. I don't want to do it. Because me and Mary Jane, we officially done. And I was very much here for the brother going off on David. Like, bitch, you a motherfucking buster. You think we want our sister to be with a dirtbag like you? Like, come on. Come on. He said, I can see if it was a fucked up plan. But no, you doing this because of my sister? Like, really? And I vouched for you. I advocated for you. And I said, well, I wouldn't have went to David in the first place. I honestly wouldn't have went to David in the first place. I know that was the most easy choice, and the easier choice, because he was a friend of the family. And, he just came onto New Money, and it probably would have been easier for him to say yes, but he wasn't a good choice in the first place because of shit like this. I mean, sometimes we want stuff to happen so bad we don't think into the long term, into the future, and other different possibilities that could happen. And that was a possibility that he can get fucked over, and that's exactly what fucking happened. And it's fucked up. And he was throwing that truth at David. David didn't want to hear it. Told him, get your ass out of here. You ain't gonna disrespect me and throw my truth in my face in my house. No, we'll do it on the corner, but you ain't gonna do it in my house. So Mary Jane takes her weave out. Now see, I know people say, when they put the weave in and sew-ins and stuff like that, they doing it as a protective style or whatever, protecting their hair. Because when she took her hair down, I already knew Gabrielle Union had a lot of natural hair. And that was all her hair. And it was very nice. I'm like, you don't know how to flat iron your own shit? I mean, she probably did some shit. I would have panicked too. Because no, truth be told, when I used to have braids and stuff, every time I never took it down and washed it unless I had somebody, my cousin was going to come over to braid it up right afterwards, re-braid it. Because, bitch, I don't do hair. Fuck I look like. So I would have panicked too, so I ain't going to go in. But I was like, girl, you better go get a flat iron and just flat iron that shit. And then, wear it pressed down for the moment until your stylist can get the shit together. It is what it is. So she called her stylist and she couldn't get it because she had to cancel the appointment because she had a car trouble. So she had to swallow her pride and ask Nixie to come over and, put her sewing in. And they had a little conversation. She was like, I'm still upset with you because of the things that you said. And it's like, you're always concerned about my health, and I know you care, but it's like, she just does it in a way that she's looking down. That's how she feel, like she's mean. And she was like, I know you care, but you just come off so mean. And, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to live my life the way I need to live my life. But she had this vision of her as being like this perfect auntie and, someone that this role model that she looked up to, and she said, you gotta sometimes not put people too high up on pedestals and stuff like that, and look at things for the reality of things. And I said that's true. Both y'all made points, like good points, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us have had some people in our families or in our lives or we got or whoever that we looked up to, and we like, I want to be like this or be like that, and then they do something that just shows the different side, and it's like, no, it's not supposed to be like this, and it just turns you off. And that's, somewhat of their relationship. But they got over it a little bit, and Mary Jane offered her some wine and shit, and I was like, oh, so we underage drinking, huh? But it's cool. It was bonding, so whatever. Kermit is a motherfucking bitch. That's all I can say. But David had sent Mary Jane this message afterward, left a voicemail basically like, shit is over with. I guess this is really it. I was willing to give you everything that you wanted, but I see what you do. You basically was trying to hurt me enough to push me away, and now you got your motherfucking wish, and it is what it is. And basically, he told his girl what happened. I said, ooh, so we trying to work on this relationship now that relationship failed. Okay. And then, the episode ends with Mary Jane dancing or whatever she called dancing. It is what it is. But, I don't know. That's how the episode was. I don't know what BT doing. BT bringing back Single Ladies. That's coming on tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to watch it. I never review it, but I will watch it. I was just a little bit confused as to why they only bringing back 6 episodes. Like, it says only for 6 weeks. And I'm like, no. Y'all not finna cram all this shit up in there. Single Ladies and the acting and shit, it was terrible. It was terrible. But it was one of those terrible ass shows that you can't stop fucking watching. And I watched each season. I talk shit about them, but I watched it. Lisa Ray can't act for shit. Her voice sounds just like this on everything. She's excited right here. This is her sad. This is her happy. This is her just monotone. I mean, it's one emotion, And I seen the clip. I just want to see LaToya Lucky bad bitch on there, okay? And then Queen Latifah gonna be on there again. Girl, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be watching it. But somebody said maybe it's to test the viewership and see if the ratings or whatever, and maybe they give it a full season. I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. I will be watching, and yeah, I will see y'all later. Peace. Oh, oh yes. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Catfish. I'm sorry for this buzzing, y'all. Let me move this. Catfish and the 2-hour season finale of Empire. I might just do a separate video for Empire because it's 2 hours, bitch. I just fucking might. But then again, I probably won't. But, fingers crossed. Because, you never know how I feel. I just might. If it blows me the fuck away, bitch, you just don't know. You might wake up and be like, this bitch that did a full video for this shit and she said she wanted, okay, I see you, huh? Alright, it's like that. But, yeah, let me get up out of here. I'll see y'all later.